Good evening, viewers. My name is Joe, and I'm a weapon of mass instruction. All right, tonight's episode is going to be a little bit about physical training, a little bit about getting yourself prepared for possibilities. Basically, what happened was a couple weeks ago, I took to the Appalachian Trail, went for a quick little nature walk. I spent about 2.5, 3 hours on the trail. I didn't take anything with me. I just had the clothes on my back and a compass just in case, And that, I really was not prepared if anything went wrong, like I broke a bone or freaking something crazy like that. But it was good exercise, and it made me quickly realize how out of shape I am and how much I really do need to train and get back in to the shape I was, because I used to be able to shoulder an 80-pound pack, plus my weapon, plus a full combat load of ammo, my flak jacket, my Kevlar. Like, I'd say altogether about 150 pounds of gear, and walk for 20 miles. And yeah, I'd be assed out at the end of that, but I could still do a full, a full training course after that if I had to, Never had to worry about doing that in actual combat environments, but, it is what it is. So I took to the Appalachian Trail again today with a friend, and we were there for, I want to say, about 4 hours this time. But this time I also carried my pack with me. And I'm just going to go over some of the stuff I brought in. It's not a full bug-out bag by any shot. But this is just a preliminary things you might want to think about when packing a bag for yourself, whether it's for a day hike, overnight hike, going out camping, or a light bug-out bag. Again, like I said, I'm going to be putting more stuff in here as I can buy it. So in the future, it'll get even heavier than it is. But I already started unpacking it when the video jacked up before. But anyway, I brought along 4 bottles of water. Each of those is a liter. And if you do the calculation, a gallon of water is 8 pounds. A liter is about a quart. So each liter of water is about 2 pounds added to your total pack. So that's something to keep in mind. Also keep in mind, for about 3 days, you're going to want a gallon of water a day, give or take, for drinking, for hygiene, for cooking, whatever the case may be. You're going to use probably a gallon of water a day. So that right there, that's 24 pounds in your pack. That wasn't a very bottles of water is not a very efficient way of carrying it. When I get a chance, I'm gonna find myself a nice big camelback bladder, and I'm going to shove that into the dedicated pouch for it. But so that was in the main pouch of my pack. I had also 4 Cliff Bars. Again, I wasn't planning on being out in the woods for long, but it would have been good for a meal if I needed it. So that would have been handy. I had a quick change of clothes in there. I had two pairs of socks. Actually 2 warming layers. I ended up putting this on. But that was good because, I was planning for 40-ish degree weather, possibly topping off at 50 and windy. Now keep in mind, when you're moving, like on a hike, or you're walking really quickly, whatever the case may be, forced march, whatever you want to call it, you don't want to have too many warming layers on. Whether it's cold weather, hot weather, whatever the case may be, your best bet is to carry the extra warming layers in your pack. If you get cold while you're marching or walking or climbing, then you can always put them on later. But the idea is, if you have all your warming layers on right now, you're going to overheat, you're going to be sweating, and your body's going to already start to get used to having all that layering on you. So there's not going to be any more to put on afterwards. Not to mention, all the stuff you're wearing is going to get all sweaty and basically all crudded up. So keep that in mind. I recommend carrying your warming layers in your pack as opposed to on your body. Also, when I completely fill this out, it's not going to be just a couple warming layers. It's going to be a full change of clothes, extra socks, extra skivvies, an extra pair of boots if possible, on top of all the warming layers and accessories like gloves, a watch cap, an extra, boonie cover, or whatever I plan on wearing, and all that. So that was the main pouch. I have this little side top pouch up here. And this was, in retrospect, not a smart thing for me to do. Plan for the worst type of weather you're likely to face. There was the possibility that it could have rained while we were out there, and I should have thought of that beforehand, but I just did this at the last minute. I had an extra battery for my cell phone, and that's not really necessary. When I fill out my bug out bag, it's not going to be in there probably because in an emergency situation, well, it is handy to have if you plan on relying on your cell phone, your smartphone, whatever you have. But also keep in mind that, end of the world as we know it, the cell phone towers are probably going to die pretty quick. So don't rely on that as your end-all be-all for, navigation and supplies and stuff like that. A couple weeks ago when I was getting ready for that last little excursion, I bought a cheap-ass compass. It actually works all right. It's a lensatic compass, they call it. And basically the way this type works is you unfold it. It's got a rotating bezel with a guideline on it, along with a red line imprinted on the actual glass face. So the way it actually works is you can orient yourself along your azimuth or along magnetic north, if that makes sense. And you can use the rotating bezel to actually go at your chosen direction. So yeah, pretty much like let's say you want to go let's say you want to travel at 60 degrees compared to magnetic north, right? So you unfold your lensatic compass and you align yourself with magnetic north. Now you're going to look directly down onto that screen, and you're going to see all the numbers written there. And you're going to rotate that rotating bezel until the imprinted line is on 0 degrees and the rotating bezel line is on 60 degrees. Keep in mind that most of these compasses are accurate to about 3 degrees, so you're not going to be completely on, but this is close enough to get you to your destination if it's not too far away. So bam, right there, and that's perfect. Now what ends up happening is, did I do that right? Wow, it's been forever. I got to retrain myself on this. Okay, screw it. I think the way it's supposed to work is you orient yourself with your azimuth that you want to go to, 60 degrees. And here it's not working because I'm surrounded by electromagnetic forces, so it's going to screw with my freaking compass. But, alright, you orient yourself with your azimuth, use the rotating bezel to align it with magnetic north, and basically what that allows you to do is it allows you to actually orient yourself with your azimuth. And I think this is a compass that I'm going to end up getting rid of. Maybe I'll give it to my daughter to play with so she can get used to what it's supposed to look like and feel like. But it also features a little sight here, a little magnifying glass sort of thing that you can look down at your chosen azimuth or your degree reading, along with this notch. What you can do is you can halfway fold up the top piece, and you can use that wire to sight in where you're headed. All sorts of nifty stuff. Anyway, I'm going to stop playing with that. I brought that just to practice, and I didn't need to use it for whatever. I also had my multi-tool, which at the time was in my pocket, but that comes in handy. This is a cheap piece of crap. I got it for free. It's from frickin' what's it called? Not Leatherman, the other one, Gerber. I don't recommend Gerbers myself, at least not this particular model. But one thing that's nifty about it is the different attachments they lock in place. So let's say I wanted this can opener. Snap it out, it locks in so it's not going to fold up on me, and that's nice for knives and stuff like that. Alright, so I'm getting a little bit off topic there, but a multi-tool comes in handy for a lot of different situations. You never know when you might need a small blade, a fish scaler, a screwdriver, or a pair of pliers all in one. So that's a plus there. I have a lighter, which is of course good for making fire. I'm also a smoker, so that came in handy if my other lighter died. But so that lighter would have come in handy. And some of these things are definitely stuff that you want to, waterproof if possible. Your cell phone, extra battery, any sort of fire-making supplies, be it a lighter or a magnesium stick, which, now that I think of it, in my other side pouch, I had a little box of Band-Aids for, little boo-boos, roll of duct tape, which would come in handy in a lot of different situations. Duct tape is like the Force. It has a light side and a dark side. It's what binds the universe together. Medical tape. Self-adhering bandage tape, which basically, this is like, your gauze bandage strip sort of thing, but it sticks to itself. So that's kind of handy. It's not, I should have kept it in a plastic bag so it would be at least somewhat clean, but whatever. Here's my magnesium stick, and basically the way that works is you're going to take the knife. This is from Coleman, which I like this. You can find them for cheaper, just the magnesium stick, but it came with this little saw blade knife sort of thing. And first you take it at a 90-degree angle, and you're basically just scraping shavings off of it. And I'm not going to show you the whole process, but you're going to make a small pile of shavings where you want that fire to go. Build up, your tinder and your kindling together to make a small fire, and then you're basically going to strike it real quick at an angle to cause that spark to ignite the shavings of magnesium. So that's pretty handy to use. So that right there, that was my 2 forms of fire making. I recommend using bringing 2 forms of fire, some sort of fire implement along with you, just in case one of them goes down. If it gets wet and that lighter doesn't work, or your matches don't work, then you still have that magnesium strip, or 2 D-cell batteries and steel wool. You can make a circuit with that. It'll form a spark and it'll ignite your fire. I don't have it yet, but there's stuff you can make too. Like you can take a eggshell, egg carton, cardboard, and you can basically make a little tinder kit, tinder kit with each one, like a cotton ball, some wood chips and stuff like that, all in there. Stuff that'll ignite quickly. A little bit of freaking store-bought Neosporin. It's not the name brand, but it's the exact same thing. A little quick antibiotic, topical. You put that on your little boo-boo. You wipe it in there, let it sit, and you put your Band-Aid on. You're good to go. And then finally, I have my water purification tablets, and this is a 2-stage system right here. Always read the instructions on how to make it work. With this one, first you put 2 tablets of the first stage into your water. Every 2 tablets is good for a quart of water or a liter of water. You're going to cap it up, not too tight, loose enough so that you can shake it and get water into the teeth of your cap. You're going to let it sit for 5 minutes, shake it up so that the stuff gets in there a little bit more, and you can get that water into the teeth of your cap. You're going to let that sit for an additional 30 minutes, and then you're going to put in your 2 tablets of your second stage per quart of water that you've got in there. And then once you do that, you're basically going to let that sit. Crap, I gotta read that again, but you're gonna let that sit for an additional 2 minutes. Yeah, that's right, 2 minutes, and then it's good to drink. Not gonna taste very good, but it'll do the trick. And that's pretty much what I had in my bag. Stuff that'll be handy in case I needed it for upwards of a day if I needed to. I also brought my 8-inch K-bar right here, and it's not with me right now, but on my belt I have my 6-inch K-bar. And in the really small pocket, I actually did bring my pistol. Ooh, naughty. I know that's kind of illegal, but it is what it is. Better to have it, not need it, not have it. I'd rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6. So there it is. And I'm running on my time limit now. I hope you enjoyed my little rant about stuff that you could use. Like this video if you like what you see. Subscribe if you haven't already and you want to see more. And leave me some comments. One quick word to one of the viewers. I can't remember your name, but you commented and you were asking if I knew about any good ranges, and you were asking about which range I work at. I really can't tell you that. Honestly, First off, because I don't really know of any other ranges in my area other than where I work at in the local competition, but also because I want to protect not only my anonymity to some extent, but also the anonymity of my employer, because some of the stuff I'm saying here might not be some of the stuff that he would agree with. For example, when I bitch and moan about stupid customers, I'd rather not people know where I work, because that would look bad for the boss man, even though this isn't connected with his business in any way. So yeah, that's why I'm not replying to that. But any other comments you have, questions, bitches, moans, gripes, concerns, whatever you got for me, go ahead and ask away. I'll be more than happy to answer you to the best of my ability. And if you come up with a good point, I'll probably bring it up in an episode in the future and either try to prove it or disprove it, agree or not agree, whatever the case may be. So that's my spiel for tonight. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm starting to ramble. So until next time, keep on prepping. My name is Joe, and I'm a weapon of mass instruction, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.